well. I'm going to get your form pulled up here. So Brenton Bishop got you a session. And here we go. Okay, so what got you, obviously you weren't the one that got the session here, but what got you interested in coaching?
I'm just trying to get better.
Sure, makes sense. Fair enough. All right, well, that's simple enough. Fill me in on your Overwatch background. What got you started? How long have you been playing? What heroes have you mained? What ranks have you hit? What do you think of Overwatch 2? Just all the details.
I've been playing since January of 2017, like right before the first Lunar New Year update.
Okay.
I just played whatever back then. I never really started like fully trying till around I don't really know, but I think after around I hit Masters like season 30. But I've been playing DPS pretty much the whole way through.
Okay, makes sense. What was it that appealed to you so much about DPS?
Just shooting shit.
Yeah, fair enough. Good answer as any. I also like there's just so many heroes as well in the DPS cast. I think that's just nice. They all feel really different. Okay, let's keep going here. So hero pool unranked. Okay. So what are your goals Overwatch wise, short term, long term? What rank are you at right now? What rank do you want to be? Do you have any aspirations for pro? Not really. Where do you fall on that?
Well, originally, whenever my friend like signed me up for this, it was to get GM. We've done that 2 days ago.
Nice, congratulations! That must have felt awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
But now it's to I want to get to GM1 by the end of the season.
Okay. Lofty aspirations.
And then like long term, I would eventually like to get into like a contenders type.
Sure.
But
okay,
that's a bit further down the line.
Yeah, of course. Okay, that's awesome. Okay, so then with those goals in mind, what does your training look like currently? How often do you play? How much do you play? Do you take days off? Do you warm up? Just fill me in on all those details.
I do like this sort of aim workshop thing for about 10 minutes, and I just go straight in. Like if I'll have one of my friends on, then I'll go straight in.
Sure. Which workshop is it? What code is it?
Vaxta.
VAXTA. Yep. I'm very familiar with Vaxta. Vaxta is great. How long do you do Vaxta?
10 minutes.
Okay, makes sense. Do you ever get bored of Vaxta?
Yeah, I switch it up sometimes, but it's mostly just that. I've only been doing it pretty recently.
Sure. Have you ever used Tryhard Deathmatch before? Tryhard FFA?
I haven't actually.
Okay, you should give that a shot. That one's a little bit more interesting. Now you're at a rank now where it might not be as challenging depending on who's in there. You do get owl players in there all the time, so that will be good. But it might be worth a shot on that one because at least for me, when I was playing more consistently, it was a little bit more engaging than workshop codes. So just something to try.
I'd be willing to try it.
Yeah. Okay. Let's keep going here. So, and then in terms of how often do you play? How much do you play generally on the average day, average week? Where do you kind of fall on there?
Typically get around 1, which is what it is right now, and then I don't really get off till around midnight ish.
Okay, makes sense.
I'm playing a lot.
Sure.
At least as of recent.
And that's the recent. That's the general consistent day-to-day schedule for you right now.
For the past few weeks, yeah.
Okay. Sounds good. Okay, let's keep going here then. So you definitely have the quantity to get to GM1, unquestionably. The question is going to be about quality, and I think this is where a lot of people kind of miss the mark. So you can get to be an excellent player doing exactly what you're doing right now. There's nothing that you need to change whatsoever, at least in terms of how much you're playing and how often that you're playing. That's not why I'm here, though. My question or my goal is to try and get you there a little bit faster and or make the ride a little bit smoother. So a lot of my questions are going to be about improving quality, not quantity. So for you, you play a lot. Do you ever have issues with energy, focus, drive, boredom, anything like that?
I guess it's the...
Or tilt is another one. Tilt is another one that can sometimes pop up.
Definitely tilt.
All right, we found that one. Okay, so break me down tilt. How does it affect you? When does it affect you? Why does it affect you? Who? Where?
I'll be playing some games. I think if I have a rule where if I lose 2 in a row, I just take a break immediately because
Nice.
I've been doing that. It's been helping a little bit. I'll still get a little pissed off though.
Yeah.
Mostly because Junkrat's in the game. But
listen, if you're gonna pick somebody to get irritated at, that's as good of a hero as any. Okay, so you take a break after 2, you get tilted. What generally causes the tilt besides Junkrat?
Just it's like if most of the time it'll be just in games where I feel like I'm doing as much as I possibly could be,
right?
But we're still not winning. It's like we're running into a brick wall.
Right. I get that. It's a little bit of a feeling of helplessness, almost. I'm sure. Yeah, I get that.
There will be those games where it absolutely will be my fault.
Yeah, and that doesn't make you feel any better either.
Make a lot of mistakes.
Yeah, I got you. Okay, well, let's talk about that a little bit. So, ultimately, like you know as well as I do, I don't have to tell you this, but like that, even if you're playing at a very high level, especially if you're playing at the Grandmaster level, you're gonna lose 45% of your games. Or 40% of your games. Best case scenario, right? Even if you were like Overwatch League level thrown into Masters lobby, you'd still lose a decent chunk of your games. That's just how it is. So I guess a little bit of reminding yourself that that's going to be the case just based off of the fact that, your teammates may be having a bad day or someone's having a bad day or the enemy team is having a bad day. So you win that one. That's just how it is. It's a coin flip and it's trying to be as close to 50-50. And even if you're better than normal, you're only 10% of the lobby, right? So remind yourself of that. And then remind yourself of even when you are playing poorly, right? That's not necessarily a bad thing. So when you say play poorly, do you have any games in recent memory where that was an issue? A game where you felt like you played really badly? You got one in your brain in the last few days?
There's been a few of those. It'll just be like...
Okay, what happened that game?
I'll either just like my brain will just like not be on and I'll just put myself in really terrible positions, or my mechanics will just shut down for some reason.
Okay.
I'm very much like mechanically reliant, like in a lot of situations. I'm definitely a lot better at aiming than I am at positioning.
But you have enough of a brain to know that my brain is off. If your brain was truly off, you wouldn't even know that your brain was off to begin with.
Yeah, right? It's a lot of time they'll just like autopilot and I'll get punished for it.
Right. Now, this is going to tie in beautifully. We're going to talk about quality and quantity again. Remember that? So, the thing that you have to be really cautious about with the amount of time that you're playing is the intensity that the brain can focus with deliberate practice, which is what you're doing, right? Is limited. And you can increase that amount slightly, but even the world's best fill in the blank, violinist, athlete, esport athlete, whatever, writers, right? We have limited intentional practice that we can get in every single day where we're like absolutely maximally turned on, focused, everything, right? And that's generally, this is very rough ballpark estimate, around 4 hours, 5 hours, tops. And so what happens is when you break that barrier, you're either doing it in one of two ways. You're breaking that barrier and playing, and there will be a dramatic dip, not a dramatic, but a noticeable dip in your ability to focus and give effort after that because your brain is just tired, right? Or the other thing that you could do, and you'll probably notice this with a lot of streamers that stream for a long time, they have found a way to like park their brain at like 75-80% and just coast. To where they're not tired because they never really push themselves during the first 3 to 4 hours. Do you kind of see what I'm saying? So they could just kind of play at like the middling level. Now you can improve with that, and you could certainly stay the same doing that if you're already good to begin with because you're not exactly getting worse. But you could probably see where I'm going with this. It's not efficient in terms of improvement or learning, and it's not the best way to kind of break the barrier, for lack of a better term.
It's not quick.
Right. It's not efficient. It's not quick. So for you've got a lot of time to play. And this is the thing about this, though, is my point is not that you're playing Overwatch too much, but that what we want to do is do a better job segmenting between tier 1 and tier 2 for you. Tier 1, you log in, you warm up. The first 3.5-4 hours of your play, right? Hard as you can, as focused as you can, with whatever goals that we give you on Sojourn, Cassidy, Ash Soldier, whatever you're practicing for the day. You have very specific goals. You're very focused. Like you said, with your positioning, you're turned on, you're focused, you're not autopiloting, you're doing exactly something specific. And maybe actually you're not even playing that good because you're so focused on what you're practicing. Maybe you make other mistakes, but that's okay. You are fully engaged, deliberate practice, bingo, right? Now, when that's done, do you have to turn off the game? No. But what will you be playing for after that point? What's the purpose of playing after that?
Not sure. I mean, a lot of times it's like I will get like after that, like there will be that point where I'll just like I will notice the dip and like, and then but I'll still keep playing because the people I'm playing with, they want to keep going because I'll either get on like earlier than them, or I'll always have like an earlier start than them, or they'll just want to keep going regardless.
And there's nothing wrong with that. It's social. It's for fun.
Yeah.
But it's for fun, right? It's not for improvement.
Right.
And so for you, you need to find that line and then communicate to yourself, hey, I'm going to be feeding a little bit. I'm not going to be like fully focused, you know? Maybe you get on an alt, maybe you off roll, or maybe you just keep queuing, but you just know that you're just not going to be playing or practicing as well as you could. But that's okay, right? It's totally fine. What matters is the first 3 to 4 hours.
I would definitely need to get on an alt because the people I play with, actually the person who scheduled it, he plays tank, plays the Doomfist. We reviewed him already, I'm pretty sure. But so I can't play support because I'm GM on that too.
Unlucky, you're just too good, I guess.
Yeah.
But you see what I'm saying?
Have to plan an alt. Yeah.
For you, it's as much about not just your practice habits, but it's your expectations for yourself. Don't put unreasonable expectations for yourself. You're doing the equivalent of trying to run a marathon at full speed. And so then when you make mistakes and you get tired, you're like, oh, what am I doing? I'm not focused. But it's unreasonable for you to expect yourself to be that focused.
And then I get tilted because of it. Like I have very high expectations for myself because I know what I'm capable of, and when I'm not doing it, I get pissed off. Right.
And the funny thing is this applies to the physical world as well. I played a lot of sports in high school, and I was like the coach's kid, you know. I always gave it my all. But a lot of coaches back when I was playing, whether it was baseball, football, whatever, didn't really understand this. And so they would push. And a lot of times with physical effort, the limit for maximum effort is even tighter. It's even shorter. So you push. Well, what happens when you try and go as hard as you can over and over again for hours at a time in like a 3-hour football practice, you get hurt. And I spent many weeks, many months as a kid with shin splints, pulled quadriceps, injured shoulders, headaches. I got injured a lot. And I realized it's because I worked too hard, and I had coaches that constantly expected what you're expecting of yourself. And in the physical realm, when something breaks, you don't lose a game, you hurt yourself, right? Yeah. And so you got to be honest with yourself here. Like you said, you can't get tilted at yourself for doing something that's impossible to do. What we want you to do is to play as high of a level. And the other thing, okay, I know I'm deviating really quickly here. The first 3 to 4 hours, are you expecting yourself to play well?
Yeah, pretty much. I'm expecting to play like not necessarily at my best, at least towards the beginning.
Right.
But definitely just like around the level where I'm normally at.
Right. Now let me stop you right there.
Yeah. All right.
We don't want you to play well necessarily. That's not what we're asking. When we're saying deliberate practice, do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You might not play well because you're practicing something. You might make more mistakes than you normally do. When we're saying deliberate practice, we want those first 3 to 4 hours your brain to be on, but we're not judging the quality of play. We're judging the quality of intention with that play. You might be trolling the lobby because you're stress testing some stuff, or I told you that your Sojourn E's suck and you need to practice them. And so then maybe your mechanics get a little bit worse because you're so focused with your Sojourn E. That's what we want, right? So then we don't care if you quote unquote play well or if you go 26-20, right? We just want you focused, fully turned on. You kind of see what I'm saying? So if you don't play well, don't get irritated in the first 3 to 4 hours either, right? Because that's not the goal. Now, you're probably going like, well, then when do I actually just play the game? When do I actually okay, well, this is where like we have to be we have to be a little bit objective about it and like be honest with ourselves. Like it's not reasonable for you to be able to do both of these things perfectly. Just play for fun and play for practice. Never, you're gonna have games or you're gonna catch yourself trying to end up winning or trying to end up playing well. That's okay. We just want you to shift a little bit closer towards a better structure. And I would suggest maybe once every, I don't know, once a week, have a day, maybe even twice a week, have a day where you're not playing to practice at all. You're just playing to win the first 3 to 4 hours. You are playing to pop off and blow people's brains out. Right. Because you've already had 3 days where you were essentially running the equivalent of drills, right? Drill, 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 drill. Next day, drill, 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 drill. Next day, drill, 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 drill. Now you got to show it off and see where you're at. Because on those days, you also get to realistically see what your actual skill level is when you're not thinking, when you're just playing to win. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah.
Because you talk about autopilot. Autopilot isn't the enemy. Untrained autopilot is the enemy. You do things on autopilot that a diamond player wouldn't even dream of, not even mechanically. Like you position, you use cooldowns, and even when you're playing badly, they go, man, how do they do that, right? Because you do you've trained your autopilot. You have a very advanced autopilot. It's just not as trained as you want it to be, right?
Yeah. You
kind of see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Okay. So, any questions so far?
No, I understand.
Okay, so we are all over the place, but this is where the value of the review, I think, comes from. Because we could talk about gameplay here, but like, what if the meta changes? What if a hero changes? What if your hero pool changes? What if you swap mains? I don't want that.
What if Sojourn suddenly becomes terrible?
Yeah, okay, reasonable expectations we're thinking here, right? Okay, so like, okay, it's not like Blizzard's gonna nuke themselves. Anyway, long story short here. So all that being said, if you're honest with yourself and you said tilt, when I said tilt, it was like something snapped, right? You're like, oh yeah, tilt. And we definitely found something that's probably causing a good portion of the tilt, which is unreasonable expectations on yourself, right? Especially, not to be that guy, but when babies get tired, they cry. When adults get tired, myself included, we get grouchy, right? We have less patience for things. And so when you're playing for 10, 11 hours a day on a very stressful, very difficult, and even doing so, like let's say you really apply that 3 to 4 hour rule, and you go in there and you try really, really hard, you are going to be tired the rest of the time you play. So you're going to be a little bit of a shorter fuse, right? So that's some of the tilt right there. But let me ask you a question. Is that explain all the issues that you would like to correct or improve upon with tilt? It might be, but I don't know. That's why I'm asking.
Not. I mean, a lot of the times I'll just blame deaths on Blizzard not knowing how to balance.
What's the problem with
I
that?
shouldn't do that though.
Why?
But the thing is, I shouldn't do that.
Why?
Because realistically, they're not going to fix it. I should just get used to it.
Right. So you actually have an interesting viewpoint there. So it's not necessarily that you're misdiagnosing the problem. You just know that it's out of your control. So why waste tears over it, right? That's a good mindset to have. Okay. Now, why else might it not be particularly productive to do that?
It's like, I guess, just wasting energy on like things that like.
Sure.
Like if I get headshot by a Hanzo from 50 meters away, which shouldn't happen, but I'm just gonna I'm dead. Back to spawn.
Right, and you don't.
Sometimes I don't do that.
yeah, and you don't have to sit there and be like fake positive about it either. You know what I'm saying? It sucks. It's annoying. It's supposed to be annoying, right? You're supposed to avoid bad situations, right? That's why we have pain nerves, right? That's why we have in-game punishment for making mistakes. But then also, the problem with that might be that you're putting all the attention on that, shifting blame away from yourself, right? Now you're here getting coaching, so clearly you're open to, I have things that I need to get better at. Everybody knows that, right? You clearly know that. However, that's why you have to be careful, even when it is a Blizzard mistake. My favorite little anecdote with this is I was watching some Cloudy stream a couple of weeks ago. Cloudy was not having a good time. Cloudy's a great Rhine player. Cloudy was not having a great time. Cloudy got put into a lobby with a low masters Pharaoh 1 trick and a top 500 lobby. Right? Blizzard's mistake. Come on, Blizzard, right? But you know what Cloudy did that game? He trolled the lobby. He played horrible. As soon as that one fight was lost from that, like a couple of fights were lost by that Pharah making a mistake or, whatever, Cloudy completely shut down. The rest of the game was it was GG's. It was over. Played terrible. And not only did he play terribly because he was so distracted by the Pharah, he also probably made the game a really miserable experience for himself when, yes, it was not going to be fun, but it could have been better than it was, more enjoyable than it was, more competitive than it was. And not only that, he queued into, I think, a Colosseo game after that and continued to play poorly, even though the lobby was balanced.
Definitely had moments like that. Very recently as well.
Right. And everybody does, right? Like, you look at this and you're like, my tilt's probably my biggest issue. That's not necessarily... you're not special in that, right? Don't feel like a freak because that's an issue, right? That's normal for most people, especially when we have games that already give us enough reason to get frustrated anyway. The problem, though, is what's going to make you exceptional, different from most people, because that's what we're trying to do, right? GM1 is exceptional, and there's a lot of ways that we can be exceptional. One of those low-hanging fruit for you might be your mentality when it comes to those difficult things. Like, how many games do you indirectly throw because of your mentality or through your unrealistic expectations on yourself, right? If we gave it a random percentage, 10%, 5%, it's a lot of games, I'd
say even more than that, if I'm honest.
Okay, well, then there you go. And the other thing, too, is, like I said, is it's not just about winning. It's about you're doing this for fun, right? Ultimately, because you enjoy it. You want to get better, but you enjoy it. And so you're also, those games become less fun than they would be, right? So, I don't know. So much of it comes back to mindset. And I think for you, looking at it with this viewpoint isn't necessarily going to be like a light bulb moment at all. It never is. But it needs to be a skill that you practice and that you train as much as you do your positioning or your mechanics. So when these kind of things happen, you talk about, I take the two game break. Okay, that's good. Yeah. That's a step. Keep going. What else works? Deep breaths, T, touching grass, shifting your mentality, focusing on the right things, giving yourself things to work on in game and not worrying about your teammates. Because if you don't have anything to work on in game, it's hard to not focus on what your teammates are doing, right? So there's a lot of little things that we can start to do. But for you, it might be a little bit of everything. But this needs to be like a lifelong pursuit. And the reason why this is so important is Overwatch is one of the worst offenders that I've ever experienced, but it's not the only frustrating thing in my life that I've experienced. And if I'm able to conquer this, even at 5, 10, 15, 20% better than I am right now, that's going to carry over to things that I do outside of the game. And I speak from experience there. So for you, this is not just conquering a video game. This is conquering your response to something frustrating, even righteously so. How are you going to grow as a person from this? You kind of see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, okay. I've monologued for too long. Do you have any questions?
No, I'm listening, bro. I got them open ears.
Okay, good. I'm glad to hear it. All right. Do you have any other questions before we hop into gameplay here? Because we've talked about a lot of stuff.
None that come to mind at the moment.
Okay. If any do come up, you just holler and we'll take a look. Do you have a code for me?
Okay. I do.
Excellent.
Now, it's probably not one of the best codes I could give you.
That's okay.
However, when you play too many games, sometimes the codes that you want disappear.
Yeah. See, you're just too much on the grind set. It's just a major issue. So you are the Sojourn on Oasis. Let me stream this here. And this is you, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
You'll notice a familiar name.
Yeah, I was gonna say, just to make sure. I actually unironically had somebody who had the same or very similar name as their like Discord name, and it was really awkward. Another true story is I actually had two people with the same name, the same Discord name. It was I think it was Sato, Sato, get coaching sessions from me, and I like within a week of each other, two completely different people. Bizarre.
That's
anyway, it really threw me for a loop. Okay, so Sojourn, what is Sojourn good at compared to the DPS cast? Everything is relative, right? So what is Sojourn good at compared to DPS, period?
Slapping supports in the face with a railgun.
What else? Compare Sojourn to like Ashe, Widow.
I'd say at least at the moment she has less range than those two heroes, but it's definitely just the just like the sheer threat that those characters bring into the lobby. It's like you see a Sojourn on the other team, you're just like, oh shit.
Okay, exactly. The range, like I said, there's a slight disadvantage in there. When you have rail, there's a massive spike in power there. One other thing I'd say as well, and this is something that I just become like a broken record about, is the mobility, right? So if you're not really leveraging your mobility as Sojourn, then you're kind of trolling the lobby. Especially like if you look at the enemy composition, they have the Zenyatta on a back. So you ironically can almost play like a flanker versus their composition when you're like pressuring with your Doomfist, because you can take such aggressive positions that you can actually threaten their backline more than like an Ashe could. Because if an Ashe takes an aggressive angle on their backline, she might get dove, right? Whereas if you get dove, no, right? And you just shift away. So let's actually see what we got here. Okay, any questions?
Before we go in,
sure.
You might notice one very specific hero on the support line on my team.
Yes.
When I saw that, I checked their profile and everything. This was my rank up game to GM, by the way. This was we lost this, but Diamond Moira.
Yeah.
Diamond Moira, one trick, fun. Yeah. I saw that, I was like, well.
Yeah.
It was one of those moments where it's just like, it's the cloudy thing. Where it's just like,
yep. You shut down.
Yeah, I didn't necessarily shut down. I definitely did try, but it was just like I was kind of like that. The fact that there was a Moira is just in the back of my head always just like, we do not have the healing for this type of comp.
Well, so you don't need much healing, do you? Look at your comp.
Well, Doom, yeah, I guess.
You already have it on as well. Let me ask you a question.
It's just Moira. I guess just playing with Moira is frustrating to me.
I'm messing with you, but yeah. I mean, Moira is just annoying. But you know what? Honestly, this isn't the worst composition to be playing it with a Moira.
Yeah, it's not.
Look at their backline,
It's not
right?
the worst thing. Yeah, but it's just
Moira.
Whenever I see a Moira, it's just immediate negative connotations all over the place.
We have to retrain. I want you to see Junkrat and Moira and just feel all the warm and cozies in your gut. You know what I'm saying?
I see Junkrat, Moira, and a Hanzo. The other team are just like.
Oh, it's just so sweet, isn't it? And a Torbjorn.
It's just so great.
It's just wonderful. Who's the tank you hate the most?
Most annoying tank, Ball. Right now, I think actually since he came out, Ball.
Yeah.
Ball or Hog.
Ball or Hog. All right. Okay, he's fine. And you can kind of see your mobility here. Like, you could take that position without even blinking. As Ashe, you'd be spooked. So, little bit of an adjustment, I think, with playstyle here. So, this fight is probably already lost. Your Hanzo's dead. Unlucky, go next.
Oh, no, it was.
Right.
It was.
So, you have immense mobility, you have reasonable mouse one pressure, and you have railgun value. What do you get out of what you're doing right now?
I think I was just trying. I noticed the monkey was anti, so it's just like, let's kill him.
Sure.
But we did not kill him.
Do you think it's reasonable to kill him when he's going to have a fresh bubble and jump soon? I
mean, there was an attempt. I just heard, like, the Doom called, like, my Doom called he was anti, so I just went to shoot at him. I didn't realize there was a bubble.
Sure. But you see the problem here, though, right? It's you could charge your rail, but obviously not as fast as you have in the past. And then ultimately, the term that always comes up is opportunity cost, right? What do you do? What do you not do, I guess, by shooting Monkey Bubble? What are you not doing right now?
Not dealing any damage. I'm just shooting a bubble.
Look at the Sojourn, right? Can you kill a Sojourn? Nah, maybe not.
Really,
but you could pull her attention away, right? Surely that has to be a higher return on investment than what we're doing. And then there's something else happening off of the 723, 3 pixel stream that you're looking at right now, and that is backline walking forward, right? Now, again, none of these targets are reasonably killable with your charge right now. Okay. But surely this is going to put out more pressure and have a higher chance of maybe getting a pick than what you're doing right now. You've put yourself in a phenomenal position and then have turned around and shot a Monkey Bubble. You see the problem?
Not to mention I also dropped down to try to kill said monkey.
Right, and that was my next point. Exactly. So you've taken the best position on the map because you're Sojourn, and then proceeded to do nothing with it. It's like buying a Maserati and parking it in like an old rusty shed. You know, so no, like just no, this is not it. Like this fight is lost regardless, but any opportunity to like get a trade and maybe make next fight easier or deny ult charge or just to, you know what, alpha Chad the enemy backline is gone. So
I waste my E a lot. That will be a very common theme in this. I'm
what is
guaranteeing
wasting
it right
your
now.
E mean? What is wasting your E
Just
mean?
throwing it at something that is, it's not going to deal like any noticeable damage to it.
Right. Okay.
Like
so,
I'll just throw it at an enemy, thinking, oh, maybe it'll scare them.
fair
It
enough.
doesn't.
Fair enough.
Because it doesn't slow them anymore.
No, it doesn't. It's
just
tragic.
Tickles them a little bit.
Let me ask you a question, objectively here. What was your intention with this E?
I have no idea. Genuinely, I couldn't tell you.
I mean, Sojourn.
I think it was maybe to do some damage to her, but she just slid away from it.
Well, but is that a problem? Your E.
I mean,
okay, let's just foresee a world where the Sojourn isn't already sliding right now. She's shooting you. You throw your E. You win the 1v1 if she doesn't slide away, right?
Right.
And who's now doing no damage?
They're Sojourn.
Right. So I don't know. I mean, I agree with you that your E. If you know that you don't put thought into your E, then I'm on your side. You're an idiot. I can agree with you on that one, right? So we can be on the same team with that, right? However, that particular one, I think there was some logic behind it, right? So we got to choose our battles here. Let's see. We'll keep an eye on it though. Nice. Oh, it's unlucky.
Yeah.
More unluckers. You're good. Like even that E there, not the worst, right?
I'd like to point out that Slick, the Doom, he was on the phone this game.
Oh,
so
dear.
He was also kind of autopiloting.
Ah, jeez. I should have yelled a lot more in our session, I think. Okay, so here's another question for you. What do you think about your positioning right now? In fact, I'm gonna actually dial it back even further. What do you think?
I think it was just more of like I noticed our Doom die, but I just for some reason I still felt the need to just like take some space a little bit because they didn't have their monkey. I thought maybe I could just get a kill here.
Yeah, it's a 1-for-1. Okay. Look at the. Do you see the Zenyatta?
I do.
Spooky.
I definitely should shoot at him.
Sojourn. Spooky. He's got a right click here. Let me ask you a question. Again, utilizing your mobility, right?
Right.
Is there a better angle for you to start clearing space and taking space instead of just running it down mid?
Maybe could have gone left side, perhaps.
Yeah. I think you could have shifted across. Yeah, and then start taking aggressive space here. I don't know. It's not really that big of a deal right now. I'm really not like fishing for, oh, that was a big mistake. I'm just trying to like open the brain a little bit here, you know? Think about it. Think about it. Because again, you have the option to do this. Your hero does. So many other hit scan heroes can't do this. You can. Like if you're playing Soldier right now, would you do this, right?
Probably not. I mean, you could try to sprint, but it'd still take too long.
It'd take too long, right? So, and that's the most mobile hit scan that there is besides you, so.
I see this on I try.
You can
she
see
dies.
You see how right now, like, do you see like right now it's like it's kind of you're kind of put yourself into the gauntlet, you know? So okay, let's see what we got here.
I have to put myself into a corner.
Good. Okay, you know, whatever. There's logic there, right? If he plays that one even slightly better, he maybe has to drop, maybe he has to move out of his heal station, you know, whatever. Nice.
She loses those.
Yeah, she does. There it is, right? Fly away. You give yourself your mercy, excuse me, an escape route as well.
She unfortunately dies.
That's okay. We can live with that. She can. Yes.
I hit that shot. He died.
It's okay.
I think he did escape. I want to explain myself on this one.
I don't know. Let me again.
Well, I was low. My thought process is, oh, our mercy died. Maybe I'll go taxi her.
Yeah. It was fine. It's fine. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. Outside of my nitpick with like maybe we could have taken a safer angle that would have kind of caught the enemy team off guard a little bit better. I don't have any problems with anything that's happened in this fight. This is perfectly reasonable.
All right.
Part of your goal, remember, is like we don't want to obsess over every single detail. We have to be objective. We have to be finding the low-hanging fruit, right? You threw first fight. Well, okay, you didn't throw first fight. The fight was lost. But there was such a concerning lack of thought from you on first fight that to me, I'm not concerned about little pebbles here and there, right? That's what I'm concerned about. And I'm also going to see if we can find any more of those because we got 7 more minutes.
Might be with you.
All right.
Sure.
you're insane. Like, this is okay, I assume, because you do this here, but I would even consider...
I slid in to try to touch, and then I thought I already was like in the thought process, like, oh, I'm gonna clock this when I touch, but I didn't. Sure. But I was too late, so I clocked anyway.
I was wondering why you slide in, but if it's for touch, I can live with that.
I slid in to try to touch. It was like, just a few shots. Let's use this primal.
Nice.
Go get that pig.
There you go. Big one. Now Zen dies, and we live. Yeah. I think so. And there you go. Yeah, yes, you do. Not bad. Okay, let's use the 2.2 times special for our replay code. I did a review of this the other day. We ran out of time at the end. We wanted to go over one more code, and we just zoomed right through it. It was amazing. Now let me ask you a question. Is there a better angle or better position for you to hold right now that would allow you to put out pressure?
Probably go left side on flank.
Well, what about
slide towards left again?
Well, then what would you see?
Well, not necessarily over here, but just like a bit more to the left, just to like draw their attention a bit.
Okay, sure.
Like
maybe mid fight. This is good. I think where you're at right now is okay. You need to shoot people, right? If your team is fighting here, we need to shoot people. And then when we answer the question, can we shoot people? And the answer is yes. Then we can start considering other positions that allow us to also shoot people. Good E, good shot. Fortunately, it doesn't get a kill.
Why did so many people just stop playing Overwatch? Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I don't know. They're all... Well, some of them are London boys, so I assume it has something to do with the scrim.
Perhaps. Monkey jumps, so I slide away.
We had to slide away. See, I'm looking at this optimally. Let me be the little macro coach here for a second, because I don't think you got the opportunity to really show off your mobility here in the way that would make me happy. But I don't think it was necessarily your fault. So let's talk about this.
Alright.
Right here. What's the problem with your positioning right now? I don't actually even blame you for it, but what's the problem with your ankle right now?
Not gonna lie, I can't really tell, but I know there's a problem, but I'm not entirely sure what it is.
That's the problem, is you can't really tell. My 3 pixels on my stream can't... All you see is a red clump, right?
Well, no, I can see it just fine. It's just like my brain's not red.
I see. Well, let me enlighten you. Remember we talked about leveraging your mobility, right?
Right.
Especially versus their backlane, considering how fragile it is. If you could, you can ruin Soldier and Ana and Zenyatta's day, correct? But can you see them right now? No. That's a problem. So theoretically, right? Especially as soon as bubble breaks, this angle is brilliant, right? I mean, even now we can see opportunities lining up, but you can't because you're here stuck in the middle of point. I'm over here. Now, I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to ask you a question. What are you going to do? Sit over here while your Doomfist is pushed up and wait for them to walk through the choke? No. So I'm not going to get... Here's my point. I think where you guys chose to take the fight by stuffing them in the choke, I think this was a mistake because it did not allow you and your Hanzo to take good angles to pick off their backline. Okay?
Okay.
The reason why I'm bringing this up, though, is if you had had this opportunity, like let's say Slick, for example, had staged up here or here and let them come in a little bit, would you have taken this position here, slid out, and gone here? Or would you have just sat here anyway? Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This is what I want to know. I want us to start thinking like this. Even if the fight doesn't give us an opportunity to practice it, I still want us to be going through the motions in our brain, right? Because remember, your mobility allowed you to escape Nano Instant, but now we have no angle at all.
Back.
Now we're stuck shooting Nano Instant, and we end up dying to Nano Instant. Too easy, way too easy. Nothing we could have done would have won us that fight. But
yeah, they used 3 ults.
What about future fights, right? This is probably not the greatest in the history of the world, right? Just on a monkey is probably not good enough.
It is definitely an E that I've used. It is definitely.
It is definitely. You definitely did use the cooldown. We saw it. There it was. All right, cute. Love to see it. Nice E. I mean, hey, you know what? Unironically, it was almost a really nice E. Look.
It was really. If I took the time to land and then throw it.
Yeah. All right.
I took the time to get on the floor and then throw it at him.
Leverage your mobility, but don't troll the lobby with lack of cover usage. Where do you go?
For some reason, I feel like Sojourn's E goes farther than it does, and then shit like that happens.
It's hard. Okay, so question. Again, leverage your mobility versus their composition, right? And consider cover usage. Where do you go? There's a couple of options here. Give me a few. Or just give me one.
Go like the left wall.
Oh,
I think I remember.
You can literally shift. Oh, here?
No, I meant like the one on high ground, like that left side wall.
Yeah, that sightline is horrible. This is sissy stuff. You're better than that.
I mean, yeah, you said play cover. That's cover.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But
But you know what this cover is like, sitting over here.
I think I do something a little bit more stupid here, though. Somehow more stupid.
Well, come up with something. Though. You're smarter than this. Come up with something. Aggressive angle.
I could slide that wall on the left that I pointed out.
Yeah,
accidentally, you pointed it out.
Yeah, exactly. I'll take full credit here. Okay, yeah, you could absolutely shift here. What are they gonna do if you shift here?
What are they gonna do? Shoot me?
Right. Well, they can't. So they're gonna have to run over. And what if you had your E here too? You know what I'm saying? What are you gonna do? Zenyatta's gonna just dive over here? No, right? You throw your E down. You have your rail. You have your corner. They lose.
Realistically, the only thing that can contest me over here is that 76.
Right, and you're very comfortable getting up in his face as long as you've got your E, right? So there's your one angle. You could also do the more passive. Right. You could also do the more passive version and shift to here and take this angle, right? Here's another question. What if you shifted up to here?
I think I did do that, actually.
I like this. This is great cover. This is probably the best one, right? Great cover, great aggressive angle. Let's see what we do.
Originally when I did it, I was like, I'm in a bad position, aren't I?
No. Because look at your cover here. Brilliant cover. And you could shoot any target that you want. Remember when we had this angle here, and I was so frustrated at when we took this position, but we shot Winston Bubble? Well...
And then I also dropped down.
Right. Now we're in that position again. Let's see what we do with it.
I drop again.
Well, maybe you thought that I need to secure the kill. I'm not going to hit the shot on that.
That is exactly what it was. It's like, let this Ana die.
Trust your mechanics, but also if you're going to drop to confirm a kill, not the end of the world. Now let's see what happens here. Nice.
Reload. Missed. They pop visor.
It's just wasn't great to drop. That's really all it is. But the initial taking of that space was good. So as much of this is going to be about doing the things that you're not doing well, equal to that is also pointing out the things that you are doing well, right? The initial position was good on both that fight and first fight. But what you did with the position once you took it, dropping off of the good position, was not so good, right? Couple of E's, some questions raised about how we'd respond if we took a fight on different corners. But unfortunately, this is how sometimes lost games go, where there's a couple of things that you could have done better, but ultimately this is more about what we can practice and less about what would have won us this game, right? Because sometimes the game is just lost. All right. Let's keep going.
Are just not winnable. This one was winnable, I think.
But there's still training environments, right? There's still training environments, right? Like you can think about it as I've walked into this round.
It's a learning experience.
Right. I've walked into this round with ankle weights, but that doesn't mean that it's still not exercise. I'm not going to win the marathon, but it's still exercise. You're not playing for any one game. No one game matters. How many games have you played this season? Or the season before?
Let me check, actually.
Can you even count that high, right? So
not on my fingers.
Okay, so one game doesn't matter,
Right.
Are you checking?
Yeah, I am actually. I've played 57 on DPS.
Okay, so 57 games in DPS, and how many more are you going to play, right? So
probably
no one game matters.
Hundreds.
This is something I've been bringing up a lot recently, but when I was chatting with Aspen a while ago, we talked about getting 4.7k, right? She said she was like, I swear, one game away from 4.7k like 4 or 5 different times. And she just lost. But the great thing about Overwatch is you lose a game and then you requeue, right? You requeue. So one game doesn't matter. It's just practice.
There will be times where I'll just focus on the fact that, ooh, if we win this game, I'll rank up.
Right. But if you don't rank up now,
I'll just focus on that.
Right. But if you don't rank up now, then you'll rank up eventually. Like, you're playing for the long run. Overwatch cares about 100 games or 1,000 games, right? So, alrighty. Okay, let me ask you a question. Are we leveraging our mobility right now? Is this the best angle that we can take?
Not at the moment.
Where should you be?
High ground, left side.
Right, shift up here. Again, people can't.
I think I did eventually, but I was just trying to get some. I think I was trying to farm charge.
Right, and by the time but you know what? The best position to farm charges
up here.
Up here, aggressive positions, especially with the tank change, right? Because it used to be that you could play relatively passive, farm a shot, shift in, and whatever, because you could just shoot a Rhine Shield or a Winston or whatever. But now it's a lot more important that you're actually putting out actual damage. Not just to farm your rail, but to actually, pretend you're Soldier 76. Imagine if Soldier 76 had to charge up a shot, right? You'd still want to take good angles to do damage.
Charge up his Helix rocket.
Right. Your mouse 1 still matters, right? It's actual damage. And if you're spending it back here, playing the rumba, like, this isn't going to be any good.
Giving the supports free ult charge.
Right.
Shooting at something.
Right. This isn't real pressure, right? This isn't real. You could be shooting out the Genji. You could be doing real damage to Winston and forcing him to jump out. You could be dueling this cast and preventing him from taking this off angle. But no, you're giving him this angle while you're sitting here.
Over here.
Right. Right. Now, let me ask you a question. Is this something to consider? Well, like, let's say they're on Ball, Trace, or Sombra. What do you think about what you just did?
I mean, if they're on Ball, Trace, or Sombra, they're probably already up here, and I'm probably dead in the next couple seconds.
But you still get value out of your mobility because you can trot your little hooves, take a more aggressive position without using shift. They dive you, you shift out. They've wasted all of that attention just to force your shift. Right. You can still leverage your mobility with that. You just might have to be a little bit more careful about how you use your shift. That's all. This is good. Great. Nice job. And now, hey, how fast do you think you're going to farm rail from here? Even at this range, which just feels a little far. There it is. Bam. Look at that.
I already have it.
I already have it.
Unlucky for that Winston.
Yeah, a little bit unfortunate. Nicely done. I mean, it happens, right? It happens. But are we happy with the position that we took? Yes. Are we happy with the target selection? Yes. Are we happy with our E usage? Yes.
Not exactly.
Wait. Well, again, mechanics, right?
Well, it pressured him out, though.
Right, but the mechanics, you missed the shot, and then you missed the disruptor shot, right? You missed the E, too. But the intention...
E will prevent him from coming up to me.
The intention was good, right? Yeah. We just didn't hit the shot. I can live with that. This is good. Monkey's just like, hey, careful. Where's Cass? Nice. Stop. It just isn't worth it. It just isn't worth it. Look at this. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. You could get just as much charge and be actually doing actual pressure.
Yeah, arguably more damage.
Yeah, exactly. You're trolling me. You're trolling me. I think this fight is unfortunately a little bit lost. A little bit lost, I say. But it's definitely lost if you just go.
I definitely have trouble with just staying on high ground.
Yeah, you need a little bit of patience, right? It's the I have to secure this kill right away versus I may not secure the kill immediately, but I will overwhelmingly double the amount of pressure that I put out and have my risk. Right? There will be times where dropping makes sense, but I think you can kind of see where it feels like a little bit of impatience. Just a little bit of impatience. Okay, so let's keep going here. The most aggressive position that you can take right now. Yes. Even versus the Genji. Ego this guy. I would not stop here. I would keep rotating, right? Keep rotating. Like, seriously, what are they going to do? You're all the way over here with the Mercy Puck. What are they going to do?
I just shot the monkey for charge. I was like, ooh, very good.
Right. It's free charge, but don't stop here. Keep going. Find that Zen. Find that Genji. What are they going to do about you all the way over here? Right? Nothing.
Realistically, it's only the Genji that could do something about it.
And then even then, you've got your E, you've got your rail, you've got right. So you're rotating here, but you're just running it down mid. You should just be swinging wider and wider and wider and wider. And look at the angle here. Oh my gosh! Do you see this?
Them.
Seriously, it's and you can still.
I take this angle, I don't get antied.
Right. And why do you get antied? Why do you get
antied? Because I played over here.
And not only did you play over here, you walked forward. You led the charge. What are you doing? You did the worst possible rotate you could have possibly done. Whoa! That, it was a big brain move all along. You're trying to bait Genji to dive. I knew it. Alright.
Yeah.
Now this makes sense. Do you see where your doom is? And then see where you are? You kind of set up a little bit of an off angle here. Maybe this Zen rotates away from doom and right into you. Maybe this works. Let's see. Just cover, right? The only thing with it, the only problem with this positioning here now is the micro. You're here, you're gonna get 2-tapped versus a good cast. Whereas if you're here, it's impossible to get 2-tapped because if he 1-taps you, you go to the wall, right? Just a little bit more discipline here. Now we're in. Now we shift in. Again, what hero can do this, right? Like what is this hero? You see this? You just took the most powerful.
No other character can do what he can
That's
do.
Right.
Sojourn.
No other hero can do this. Now you're gonna die for it. So
I got my one. You
got your one. You got your one. Maybe we didn't need to slide in here, but I'm not gonna cry. I felt like you were like, I've got my mercy pocket, and then you're like, oh, I don't got my mercy pocket.
That's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, my mercy's gonna follow me. She did not follow me. She tried.
Unfortunate. Okay, I can live with that. See all these DPS mains crying about the mercy changes, right? You know, oh, you should just live with the GA change, but you die to the GA change. The ultimate irony.
True.
Huh. All right, let's
Still win this. We still won that fight.
That E annoys me. No confirmation.
Elaborate.
No guarantee. Just used it, right? You just used it, right? Just wait. Use it. Make sure that they're walking through the choke. Use it to win a 1v1. I don't know.
I didn't know they were over there.
Right. No confirmation. Like, you could throw it here, zone the Genji out, open up a res opportunity, right?
Right.
Okay.
Why was that cast so low though? Why did they not heal him?
Good question.
Kind of interesting. What happened here?
Oh, he's trolling. His cover usage is not good.
He's getting a little quirky with it.
He's getting a little quirky with it. You must have taught him.
Tried to hide.
You must have taught him how to do it. Alright. I would say as well, like, you see how you're very tunneled on Monkey right now? But, you know?
I tunnel on tanks a lot just because, like, at least on Sojourn, I'll just, like, ooh, charge.
Yeah.
It's just the charge.
It's like the Kiriko thing. Like, when I was, I'm, like, reteaching Kirikos how to play the game because they've been used to heal botting tanks for so long and just farming ult that they forgot how to play the game. And now I'm, like, working with Sojourn mains, and I'm like, guys, remember, shooting tank only not good, right? Like, we have to relearn that you have a gun that can win squishy 1v1s, right? Remember, you know, yeah.
You have a gun that still manages to do decent damage
right,
output.
Exactly. This is fine. That was not a great, I don't think you had full charge there, so that was not great.
I didn't. It was a very useless rail, but
Ooh,
I thought maybe I could get head.
I got you. Nice shot. Nice. Again, this position, no other DPS could do what you just did, right? Nice shots.
Oh, look, another one.
Nice. Greatest of all time. Oh,
and then that happens.
Look at the ego of this guy. What is he doing?
Our Cass, I think, popped Noon, so he just gets honked. There it is.
You know, he stalled 5% though, so
he did though. I mean, was it worth it to use Chrono for that? I did it again.
Oh my days!
I do that so much.
Don't gas.
Ease at the choke.
Don't gas. It's 13-second cooldown.
I just throw ease at chokes like maybe they're there.
Again here, do you see what even your positioning here? Like, we like this positioning mid-fight, but for crying out loud, shoot down the tunnel of death. You know? Oh my gosh, there it is. You know? Look at the amount of charge that you could get from here, and pressure, and not only pressure, but scouting as well, right? Like, you need to control this angle, and like with your E, with your rail, I promise you, they will not be able to walk through this door if you just simply sit here and pump some shots. But your entire mentality is, I see tank, I shoot tank, you know? and then all of a sudden, it's like you have an on-off switch for whether you shoot squishies. It depends on whether you have rail or not, but that's not a good habit. Like, your tank damage isn't even that good, as you're seeing now. Like, you've been railing, no pun intended, on this guy for like the last 5 seconds, and you just now took off his armor. Can you imagine if a soldier spent this much time? This guy would be dead by now, right? So like, I don't know.
Use an entire clip on the Winston.
Right. And I mean, it's fine if there's nothing else to shoot, but these guys are like spoon feeding you angles.
Well, there's definitely a lot of things to shoot.
Right. Nice E.
Fortunate miss.
Nice.
He was really dumb for that. I think I still died though.
Yeah, I think you're down one again. Your
Where
cast was good.
was everything else here? Because I want to see like a third person.
So they knew...
I want to see a third person of when I slid out from the Genji because like there was something behind me, but I have no idea what it was.
This is what happened. You want to laugh?
So
there's... Yeah, there you go. So they're...
No, I mean like when I slid away from the Genji blading, like I felt there was something behind me, but I had no idea what it was. I think there was like a cast there or something. I slid out, got healed.
No, you're... Oh my god.
There was! I was right!
What?
I was getting shot by 3 people.
yeah. I mean, come on, you're Sojourn, you should live that, right?
Of course.
Naturally. Alright.
It's not.
Hanzo is definitely the swap. Again, it's meaningless, you know. 14-second cooldown. It's just meaningless, you know.
It's such
He's
a
gonna
long
back up
cooldown,
anyway.
Using it for fun.
Yeah, not the end of the world because the slow removal means it's a lot less impactful. But like even just to win a 1v1, put some extra pressure on backline. This angle is fine. I have more patience with this, right? Because of what you have to shoot. But as soon as you can, do you see what you can shoot now at this precise second?
Zen.
Right? Cast even on high gun,
yes.
Right? So then like for now it's fine, but right now we should be swapping targets. But you're just focused on tank. You're just so focused
on getting charged.
Right. It's like your whole playstyle is revolved around it. Nice shot in the Genji, that's really good. Still shooting the Winston even though Cass and Zen were like presenting themselves. This is a little bit of phony trolling. I think even with Valk, this is probably a little bit too ambitious. I mean, yeah, you can see it. Just a little bit too ambitious.
I'll just spoil the rest of this fight. There's Zen gets nanoed, kills 4 people, and we lose.
No way, let's check it. It was me and an ult, you just didn't know it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. My bad.
It's nanoed.
Look at this guy. Look at
that guy to shoot it during
Look at this guy. Look at this guy.
My God.
Absolutely zero concern whatsoever. Okay, so let's type up the juice right here. Sojourn and your channel. What are you seeing? There was actually the second round was very telling, right? Lots of things to learn from. So what are some skills that you need to improve? We talked about a lot of like structural, big picture stuff at the start. But obviously there was a lot more than that actually in game as well. What did you see?
Wasted ease, wasted opportunities for like slide as well. I think like I could just like slide to places.
So let's one step at a time.
There's 3 areas I could just slide to so easily, and I don't do it.
Right. Start one step at a time. Let's start with E. Okay. Maybe not the most important thing to improve, but something. So what with your E's? What skill do you need to develop with your E usage a little bit?
Stop throwing it at chokes.
E's put more thought into use, either for actual pressure or winning 1v1s. Okay, what else needs to be practiced? Next skill.
Like the
playstyle thing,
like, right?
Which is what? I
guess slide into. Or not just like. Also think about like using slide more to like get in better position.
Sliding.
A lot of time I'll just hold on to it for a dive, and I either won't get dove or I'll just use it and still die.
Mobility. When you're playing this hero, you should try and position in a way to where you're going to get your slide forced because the enemy team has to deal with you, otherwise they die. You kind of see what I'm saying? Like, if you're positioning exactly as you'd position as Ashe, you're making a mistake because you should be positioning more aggressively to force them to actually... Because you should be using your slide not to go in, but taking angles that forces the enemy team to slide, to go after you so that then you can slide away and waste their time. You kind of see what I'm saying? Like, if you're frontlining as Tracer, you might never need to blink. You only need to blink because you're juking people who are shooting you because you're flanking them and shooting them in the back of the head. That's why you need your blink. That's why you need your slide. It's encouraging you to play in a certain way. Same thing with Kiriko. If you're never TPing as Kiriko, you're not playing aggressively enough, right? And that's kind of like what we want to see. We don't want you to be necessarily sliding aggressively 24/7, but if you're never getting your slide forced, that should probably be a red flag about how you're positioning. At the same time, consider cover, because there's a couple times we could have done a better job playing closer to cover just so that we can actually live. All right, and the last one, and in my opinion, from what I've seen, probably the most important one was your play style. You felt very obsessed with pressure tanks, shoot tanks, rail tanks, and that was affecting your target priority, but it was also affecting your positioning as well. You were not taking the most pressurable positions as you could as Sojourn, and it was mean that you were giving the enemy DPS just the complete map to do whatever they wanted with, right?
Right.
So what's the skill to practice there?
It's if I see something else, shoot it. Shoot,
Yeah.
like don't
Yeah.
totally focus on the tank.
Work on tank tunnel, right? Because obviously, like if tank is feeding, go ahead.
I just do it for charge.
Right.
I just do it just to get real charge. Because I'm playing. For some reason, I still play like old Sojourn, where it's just like farm charge, get headshot, win game.
And it's hurting your pressure.
But obviously, you can't really do that anymore.
Right, exactly. You build charge so much slower too, you know? So it's like, it's a lot more important that you're actually getting impact out of just your initial positioning and just your M1 itself than it is about like, oh, am I going to build rail faster because I'm shooting monkey bubble, you know? Because that's just not the case. So I think it's playing Sojourn more like a real DPS like other heroes. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want to hold an angle to do damage on backline and dual DPS, right? And you shoot tank when there's nothing else to shoot or when the tank is being disproportionately aggressive. But, as we saw there, sometimes the tank was even playing more cautious than Zenyatta and Cass, and we were still shooting Winston, and I think like that's the habit that we want to break. Okay. Those are 3 things to practice. I recommend practicing them one at a time. Like we said, the deliberate practicing, the first 3 to 4 hours, pick one of those things, grind at it, focus on it, write it on a sticky note, set phone alarms to remind yourself to refocus on it, take short breaks if you get tilted, distracted. If you feel like you're playing poorly, it doesn't matter. You're focusing on this stuff, and then, you know, you move on. You do another skill when you get bored with one. And then maybe you have a day once or twice a week where you just play for fun and don't work at anything, right? But definitely try and practice those one things at a time. Do you have any questions?
Not really.
Okay. We talked about a lot. I'll get this recorded. Well, I did record this, and I'll upload this so you have something to go back and watch over in case there's any points you want to go over. But my DMs are always open in the meantime. And in addition to that, you have the replay code rule going for you. So what that means is tomorrow, next week, next month, whenever, if you have a code on Sojourn, Ash, any other hero that you want a little bit of extra feedback on, shoot it my way and give me like 4 timestamps, and I'll take a look over it and send you some feedback in a couple of days. Sound good?
All right.